you know, just kind of starting off, I mean, talking about these two teams here. Washington is a high flying offense, right? Um, their two wide receivers, McMillan and Odunze, are definite NFL prospects, especially Rome Odunze, because man, this guy is a bad dude and one of the best wide receivers in the country. I can't say the best with Marvin Harrison Jr. over there at Ohio State. I think he would probably have something to say about that. Whenever we look at the stats here in a minute, I know what generally what they're going to say, and the defense doesn't look quite as good on paper for Washington as it does for Oregon. But honestly, if we go back and we look at the schedules of these two teams and who they've played, honestly, I think Washington might be a little bit more of the tested team so far at this point. And not to mention, this game is going to be played at home. And this is one of the biggest matchups in Seattle in a long time. And I think that it's going to be a raucous environment. And I'm really, really looking forward to see it. Let's throw some of those stats up on the screen. So as you can see, Oregon and Washington's offenses are I mean, really, really similar as far as they're both just really high up there, highly ranked, lots of yards, lots of points. Second in scoring for Oregon, third in scoring for Washington. This is the biggest difference that I see right here as far as on the offense goes. Washington is just not as reliant on running the ball as Oregon. But the passing offenses, I mean, 10th is it's not like that's not too shabby, but look how many yards per game that is less than Washington. The biggest differences on this stat sheet here is the defenses. Washington's defense doesn't come anywhere close to the rankings and the numbers that Oregon has put up this year. Honestly, and that's what I think it's going to come down to. Both of these teams are plus in the turnover margin. I think somebody's going to have to get some turnovers in this game to get an edge because I think both teams are going to be able to move the ball on each other. I don't think Oregon, just because these numbers say that their defense is better, that they're going to play better, this Saturday whenever they obviously haven't played an offense as good as Washington's, not anywhere close. So these numbers don't reflect playing a team like that, and nor does Washington's for that matter, I guess. But I'm thinking Washington's going to be able to do their thing, and Oregon's going to be able to do their thing on offense. So honestly, I like the over in this game, honestly. But whoever can get a turnover or two is going to give themselves a really, really good shot to win this thing. What do you think about this one, Mason? The Bo Nix and the Michael Penix Heisman game.
Well, I agree with you on the over for sure. I think that's probably the safest play. And it looks like I'm getting our stats pulled up here because it looks like you've got yesterday's numbers. So believe it or not, that over under of 60.5 has shot up to 67 now. So if you're going to play the over, you got to play it at 67 instead of 60.5, and that's just in one day. So when I played it out and kind of crunched my numbers, I got 64 is what I ended up with, and that's just taking.
Can you share those or on yours, or do I need to go pull that up?
I'm getting it pulled up as I'm talking. Not doing a very good job of multitasking here, but
well, that's all right.
Anyways, yeah. So
that's all right. Well, look, with Washington being at home, I think that gives them a clear advantage, and that's probably reflected here in the point spread. But 3 points. That's a tough number. I could see it getting down to maybe 2.5, and I would love to take Washington at 2.5 there. But, if you really feel convicted about Oregon in this game, last I checked, pretty good money line odds there. So pretty good use of your dollar and pretty good return there if you really feel good about Oregon winning the game. But for me personally, as far as my lean on the spread, I liked the over until it got up to 67. I think I'm good on that. I think I'll pass. But I'm seriously considering betting the Washington 3. But I may sit back and watch that a little bit because I feel like casual fans, people who don't watch out on the West Coast, West Coast football games, I think they know a lot more about Oregon than they do about Washington. And I mean, I know that sounds kind of on the surface, but that's what these betting numbers are about. It's about Vegas getting even bets on each side, and that's what makes the lines move. So, I just feel like people just recognize the O and the Nike and all that stuff. And I don't think most people have even watched a Washington game this year, but I'm here to tell you right now that they have one of those, like, I'm not going to say Alabama offenses from a couple years ago, but they have one of those offenses that's just like, you can just throw all the defensive stats out the window, dude, because they're just so damn fast off the line, and they're just so freaky, man.
Well, and you know how high I've been on Oregon all season. I mean,
yeah.
And you've kind of been shaded towards Washington. It's kind of a first and long matchup. If
you ain't getting my damn Huskies now, I'm telling you right now, not at home, mate. Not at home.
Oh, but
not so fast.
All right, Lee, calm down. Go take your medicine.
Yeah, I feel like I do need some medicine.
But
I'm taking medicine. I'm drinking a margarita. What is tonight? What is today? Tuesday? I'm drinking a margarita on a Tuesday. Like,
hey, what else are you gonna do when there's no football on?
There is nothing else to do other than come talk about football and drink a margarita.
There you go. Yeah. But outside of what you talked about, Oregon has been a little bit better on third down. I kind of want to see if that has a play on this game. It's nothing too drastic necessarily, but on both sides of the ball there, Oregon has shut down the third down conversions, and they've won more, than Washington. Now, part of that too is that Washington and their receivers have been able to score long touchdowns, so they don't get into third down very often. I think they're going to have a few more opportunities this week against Oregon to show what they can do on third down. I'd like to see if that has a play at all. When I break this game down, Mark, if this game were played 10 times, both teams would win 5 times.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. It's going to be a banger, man. It's going to be a really good game. When I look at it, I think it's going to be pretty high scoring. I honestly think that the score is going to be in the 70s, total. So I still like the overplay. Definitely, I'd take over before I took under. In this play.
you like it at 67?
I still do. Even though
my
numbers,
because honestly, now I'm thinking about betting the freaking under.
Yeah, well, that's the issue to me is I don't like betting with the public, but my numbers tell me that this. So mathematically, my numbers tell me this is going to be about a 64-point, total game. But then I look at it and I say, man, you can kind of take, like you said, take what you know about each team and what they've scored in the past and throw it out the window because it's different, man. These two offenses are different, and they're able to score on any defense. I'm pretty confident. I don't think Oregon's defense is as good as this would show. I don't necessarily think that. I think that's been, they've benefited from playing relatively ineffective offenses. And Washington, on the other hand, I feel like their offense is as advertised, and their defense is probably about what they are. And it's not great. It's kind of a Pac-12 defense, but that offense is so explosive. I don't know that anybody's going to keep them under 40 points. I mean, if Oregon does, I think it's a real testament to them and what they're able to do. But yeah, I think on on paper, I think Oregon should be the winner here. Just based on what you're seeing and what I'm seeing, everything that we're looking at tells me Oregon should win this game. But
Yeah.
you know, realistically, my eyes tell me that Washington should be able to pull this game out at home. I think it's a pick 'em, and I think that they're rightfully, on a neutral side, I think it's a pick 'em. So I think rightfully Vegas has got Washington as a 3-point favorite. I think that they should be able to win this game. But I like even though I think that Washington should be able to win the game, I'm going to kind of fade my own pick, and I'm going to say that Oregon pulls it out late with like a late interception or something like that as Washington's drive. And I think it's going to be one of those type of games. Definitely one to tune into if you haven't been watching and paying attention to the Pac-12 yet. But I like the overplay, and I think that Oregon pulls it off and is able to upset Washington.
I'm going to watch the line on this one, and I'll see how I feel on Friday. And I may, if that line keeps going up over 67, I'm definitely betting the under. But I just want to bring something up. The last time Washington lost a football game was October 8th of last year. They lost to Arizona State on the road. And I believe that was on a Friday game. But since then, they've really turned things around, including a win over Oregon. They haven't lost a game since then. And at home, they've scored 56, 27, 43, 59. There was another one right here in the 50s, 45. I think it's whoever makes the first big mistake is going to end up losing this game. You can't lose a possession in this game, I don't think. Nobody's shutting anybody down in this one. I would be very, very, very surprised.